Chapter 1. The Breaking Point. I still remember the moment when I truly broke down. It wasn't a big event. It was something small, something ordinary. But it hit me hard. I was in a job interview. The man sitting in front of me asked a simple question. "Tell me about yourself." My heart raced. I froze. Words came to my mind, but only in my native language. English, the language I had been learning for years, suddenly felt like a wall I couldn't climb. I smiled awkwardly, trying to say something, but the sentences came out broken, confused. The interviewer waited politely, but I could see it in his eyes. He had already decided. I didn't get the job. That evening I sat alone in my room, staring at my phone. I felt small. I felt like a failure. "Why can't I speak English?" I whispered to myself. I had tried everything: language apps, grammar books, YouTube videos. I watched lessons. I memorized vocabulary lists. But when it was time to speak, nothing came out. Why? It wasn't that I was lazy. I was working hard. But the way I was learning, it wasn't working for me. It was boring. It was disconnected from real life. It didn't match the world I was living in. I spent more time scrolling Instagram and watching reels than opening a textbook. And that night, something strange happened. As I was scrolling through Instagram, I saw a short video. A man was giving a motivational speech in English. He said, "Nobody is coming to save you. It's your life. Save yourself." The words hit me like lightning, not just the message, but how clear and powerful it sounded in English. I replayed the video again and again. I started repeating the lines out loud. "It's your life. Save yourself." And then a thought came to me. What if I can turn this into my classroom? What if my phone, the thing I used to waste hours, could become my teacher? I looked at my Instagram feed. It was full of jokes, gossip, and posts that gave me nothing. I opened YouTube. Same thing. Entertainment, noise, distractions, not learning, not growth. That night, I made a decision. I was tired of feeling stuck. Tired of missing opportunities. Tired of not being able to express myself in the most important language in the world. So I made a promise to myself. I will turn my phone into my teacher. I will learn English using what I already use every day, social media. I started small. First, I deleted some apps that were wasting my time. Then, I unfollowed pages that gave me nothing valuable. I started searching for English-speaking creators, people who posted motivational content, English tips, short stories, even movie clips with subtitles. I followed them. Slowly, my feed began to change. Instead of gossip, I saw quotes like, "You become what you do daily." Speak English even if it's broken. Confidence grows with action. Don't aim to be perfect. Aim to be better. These lines stayed in my head more than anything from a textbook ever did. They made me feel something. They made me want to speak. They made me want to try. I told myself, no more pressure. I won't try to become fluent in one day. I will just learn one thing each day, feel one sentence, understand one new phrase, and I will do it inside the world I already live in. My phone. The best part? I didn't need money. I didn't need a teacher. I didn't need to move to another country. I only needed intention. That was the breaking point. Not the moment I failed, but the moment I decided to begin again with a new mindset. Looking back now, I understand that real change doesn't come when everything is going well. It comes when you're at your lowest, when something inside you says, "Enough is enough." That voice inside me got louder than the fear, louder than the doubt, louder than the excuses. So if you're watching this and you felt what I felt, lost, embarrassed, unsure, know this: you're not alone. And your phone, the thing you're using right now, can be more than a screen. It can be your classroom, your mirror, your practice ground. It's not about finding more time. It's about using the time you already have better. This is how my journey started. Not with a big plan, but with a broken moment and a bold decision. Chapter 2. Cleaning the feed, clearing the mind. The first thing I realized after deciding to learn English through social media was this: my feed was a mess. It was full of noise, meme pages, gossip about celebrities I didn't even care about, prank videos, useless drama, and posts from people who only showed off fake lives. Every time I opened Instagram or YouTube, I was being pulled into a world that wasted my time and filled my mind with distractions. I had made a promise to myself. I wanted to learn. I wanted to grow. But how could I do that if the first thing I saw every morning was someone making jokes I didn't understand or another fight between influencers? So I made my second big decision. I cleaned my feed. It started one evening. I sat down with my phone, took a deep breath, and began unfollowing. First, the obvious ones: meme pages, prank channels, gossip accounts. Then came the harder ones: people I knew, old classmates, distant relatives, even a few friends. Some of them posted nothing helpful, just complaints, selfies, or negative comments. I wasn't angry at them, but I knew this: if they weren't adding value, they were adding noise. It wasn't personal. It was necessary. As I unfollowed, I also searched. I typed English quotes, motivation in English, learn English fast, and English conversation clips. Slowly, I started following accounts that made me feel inspired. Creators who posted simple motivational speeches in English. Pages that shared one English word a day with meaning and example sentences. Quote pages that filled my screen with wisdom instead of nonsense. I didn't even realize it at first, but something amazing started to happen. My feed changed, and so did my mind. Instead of waking up to a joke or a complaint, I woke up to things like, you don't have to be perfect to start. You just have to start. Speak like you already belong in the room. One sentence a day is progress. Keep going. These weren't just sentences. They were tiny sparks. Every time I read one, it stuck with me. I would repeat it in my mind, sometimes out loud. I would try to understand every word. I would look up the meaning of the ones I didn't know. And slowly, these quotes became my first English lessons of the day. What surprised me was how natural it felt. I wasn't sitting in a class. I wasn't opening a grammar book. I was just living my life, scrolling like I always did. But now, my feed was feeding my growth. One post I remember clearly said, "Don't study English, live it." That one hit me hard, because that's what I was doing now, living English. Not in a boring way, but in a real, daily, emotional way. Sometimes I would see a 15-second reel where someone spoke powerful lines in English. I would pause it, repeat after them, then play it again. I started following creators who shared clips from movies and shows with subtitles. I would read the lines, feel the emotions, and try to copy the tone. One time, I saw this quote, "Confidence is built in private, not in public." That line gave me so much courage. I realized I didn't need to speak perfectly in front of people yet. I just needed to practice in silence every day and let the results speak for me later. Little by little, I felt a shift inside me. English stopped being this scary subject I had to study. It became a part of my daily thinking, my habits, even my identity. I was becoming someone who didn't just want to speak English. I was starting to think in English. All of this happened because I changed one thing, my environment. Your mind becomes what it sees, hears, and reads every day. And in today's world, our phones are the first and last thing we see. So if your feed is full of junk, how can your mind be clear? Cleaning my feed was not just about removing distraction. It was about clearing space for growth. When I removed the noise, I made room for language, for motivation, for small lessons that added up every single day. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need expensive classes. But you do need to ask yourself, is what I'm watching helping me become who I want to be? If the answer is no, start cleaning. Your feed is your mirror. If you change it, you change what you see. If you change what you see, you change how you think. And once you change how you think, everything begins to change. That's what happened to me. And that's how I took the next big step on my journey. Chapter 3: Subtitles, Reels, and Real English. After I cleaned my feed, everything started to feel lighter. My phone, my mind, and even my heart. But the real transformation began with one habit: watching reels with subtitles. It might sound silly at first. I mean, who learns a language through 15-second videos, right? But I wasn't just watching. I was studying, feeling, absorbing, repeating. Let me explain. One day I came across a short reel. It was a scene from a movie. Just a man sitting in a car talking to himself. His voice was calm but strong. The subtitles were clear. "I'm tired, but I'm not quitting." That line hit me so hard. I paused. I rewound. I played it again. "I'm tired, but I'm not quitting." This was more than English. It was a feeling, a mindset, a fight. I copied the voice. I repeated the line aloud until my tongue could say it without fear. I didn't just want to know the sentence. I wanted to own it. That was the moment I understood the real power of reels and subtitles. These weren't just entertainment. These were micro lessons, full of real English, real emotion, and real life expressions. So I created a rule for myself: watch 5 reels a day. only in English. Subtitles on. Focus 100%. Save the good ones. I started building a little library, a learning folder in Instagram where I saved every reel that taught me something. Some taught me how to express anger. Others showed how to talk about dreams, heartbreak, courage, or laughter. I learned the rhythm of English, how fast people speak, where they pause, when they raise their voice, and how they use silence. One reel had a girl saying, "You don't get what you wish for. You get what you work for." Another one showed a man shouting in frustration, "I'm not weak. I'm just tired of being strong all the time." Each time I would pause the video and speak along with them. I started noticing the little things, the way the words connected, how the emotion changed the tone, and how some words were said softly while others were full of power. I wasn't learning textbook English. I was learning real English, the kind people actually use. And here's the beautiful part. It didn't feel like studying. It felt like living inside a new world. One reel, one sentence, one emotion at a time. Some nights, I would spend 30 minutes watching these saved videos, not just passively, but actively. I would write down new words. I would mimic accents. I would close my eyes and try to repeat a full sentence from memory. Sometimes I failed. I forgot a word or stumbled over the pronunciation. But I never gave up. Because every time I repeated a line, I felt a little stronger. Not just in English, but in life. Like the time I learned, "Speak your truth, even if your voice shakes." That one stayed with me. Because my voice did shake. In interviews, in meetings, on phone calls. But now, I had words to express that fear, and courage to face it. And that's the magic of learning through reels. You're not just hearing English, you're feeling it, living it, practicing it in small, focused moments. People think learning needs hours and hours. But honestly, some of the biggest changes in my English came from those short bursts of deep focus. Just 30 seconds of watching, feeling, and repeating with full attention. It's not about how long you study. It's about how deeply you connect with what you study. The reels taught me slang, tone, confidence, and everyday language that no textbook ever showed. I started picking up expressions like, "That's on me." "It is what it is." "I've got your back." They were simple, but powerful. The kind of phrases that make you sound natural, not like a student, but like a speaker. And over time, something amazing happened. My own voice started to change. I could form sentences more easily. I remembered quotes during conversations. I started using English not just as a language, but as a part of my identity. It all started with reels and subtitles, tiny windows into a bigger world. So if you're holding your phone right now, wondering how to learn English, start with a reel. Turn on the subtitles. Repeat the line. Feel the emotion. And remember, you don't need a classroom to learn. You just need curiosity, consistency, and the courage to begin. Chapter 4. One comment a day. It started as a tiny challenge to myself. Just one English comment per day. No fancy vocabulary, no perfect grammar, just a few honest words. I still remember the first time I did it. I was watching a motivational reel on Instagram. The speaker said, "You don't grow when you're comfortable. You grow when you're challenged." That line hit me. It felt like it was talking directly to me. And without thinking too much, I scrolled down to the comment section and typed, "I needed to hear this today. Thank you." Then I froze. My fingers hovered over the post button. What if my sentence was wrong? What if someone laughed at my grammar? What if I used the wrong tense or forgot an article? All those thoughts rushed in. But then, I remembered why I started this journey, to use English, not just study it. So I took a deep breath and clicked post. And just like that, something shifted inside me. No one laughed. No one corrected me. In fact, someone replied, "Me too." This quote helped me a lot. That simple reply made my day. For the first time, I felt part of a conversation in English, not as a student, but as a person. That's when I made a rule. One comment a day, no excuses. Every day I would find a reel, a photo, a post, anything that moved me, and I would leave a small comment in English. Sometimes it was a full sentence. Sometimes just a phrase like, "This made me smile." So powerful. Sending love from India. I agree with this so much. At first my comments were short and simple, but over time they started growing. I became braver with words. I started writing things like, "This video reminded me to stay strong, even when things are hard. Thank you for sharing this." Suddenly, commenting didn't feel scary. It felt exciting. Every comment was a little moment of practice, a mini lesson in sentence formation, tone, and real conversation. The beautiful part was that I wasn't doing it in a notebook. I was doing it in public, in real time, with real people. And that changed everything. I began to notice how people wrote in English, how they used casual expressions, how they ended their sentences, how they shared their feelings in just a few words. I was learning naturally by observing and trying. Yes, I made mistakes. Of course I did. Sometimes I forgot a word. Sometimes I used the wrong preposition. But no one ever pointed it out in a bad way. And more importantly, I didn't stop. Because I realized something powerful. You don't learn by being perfect. You learn by being brave. Writing public comments gave me something that grammar books never could: confidence. It made me feel like I had a voice in the English-speaking world, like I wasn't just watching from the outside anymore. I was in it, participating, even if it was just one sentence at a time. Some days, I commented on quotes that inspired me. Other days, I replied to English-speaking creators, even if I thought they'd never see it. But each time, I felt a little less scared, a little more connected. One day, I left a comment on a travel video. "This place looks so peaceful. I hope to visit one day." And the creator actually replied, "You should. It's even more beautiful in real life." That small interaction stayed with me for days. I screenshotted it, because it wasn't just a reply, it was proof that I could communicate in English and be understood. That feeling, it's hard to explain. It's like learning to swim and realizing for the first time that you're floating on your own. So if you're afraid of writing in English, start small. Just one comment a day. Forget about mistakes. Forget about judgment. Write from the heart. Because every comment is a step forward. Every sentence you write is you saying, I'm not hiding anymore. I'm learning out loud. And when you do that, when you show up daily, even in a small way, you start to build something unshakable, your confidence. So go ahead, scroll through your feed, find something that moves you, and say something, anything in English. That one comment could be the beginning of everything. Chapter 5. Living Inside English. It happened on a random Tuesday morning. I was sitting in bed, scrolling through Instagram, when a reel popped up that said, "If you want to master a language, live inside it." It stopped me. I paused the reel and stared at the words. Live inside it. Not just study it, not just watch it, but live in the language. That phrase wouldn't leave my mind. All day, I kept thinking, what would it look like to live inside English? Then it hit me. My phone, the device I used more than anything else, every hour, every day, was still in my native language. My menus, my notifications, my settings, all in a language I was trying to move beyond. So I made a decision. It was small, but scary. I changed my phone's language to English. At first, it felt like I had broken something. Nothing looked familiar anymore. Suddenly, settings was no longer a word I could ignore. It was something I had to understand. Storage, notifications, airplane mode, app permissions, all these words that once felt distant were now right in front of me, waiting to be figured out. The first few hours were frustrating. I kept clicking the wrong buttons. I had to search for things like how to clear cache or what battery optimization even meant. But little by little, something magical started happening. I stopped translating in my head. Instead of thinking, how do I turn off the sound, and then translating it, I began to just see the words, mute notifications. And I understood. That was the first victory. Then came another. I set my morning alarm, and the option appeared, snooze for 10 minutes. I had never used the word snooze before, but now every single morning I was tapping it, and every time I did, it got more familiar. That's how English started slipping into my brain, not through textbooks, but through habits. When I wanted to delete photos, I read, move to trash, then item deleted. When I updated apps, I saw pending, install, open, what's new. When I missed a call, my screen said, one missed call. Words I had once ignored became part of my daily rhythm. Every small interaction with my phone became a vocabulary lesson. Quick, effortless, and natural. And the best part? I didn't have to find time for it. It was already part of my life. I just changed the language. The more I saw English, the less I had to think about it. I didn't say mute notifications in my native language anymore. I just knew what it meant. It was like my brain had stopped translating and started living in English. This constant exposure did something deeper, too. It changed how I thought. When I got a reminder to update available, or when my screen said low battery, my mind didn't need to switch languages.